Yep, thank you, Mr. Leary. If you go on to the first slide. So the presentation for today is about the next option after the CAO that a lot of people would have a look at, and that's the post-leaving certificate courses. Okay, so PLCs. Quite a number of you who are on here at the present moment are really interested in this particular option. I'm conscious of a bit of time, so we'll move fairly quickly through it. But the PLC, the post-leaving certificate courses or option, is a really, really good one, not just for students who aren't thinking about going to the CAO, but for those who are thinking about going through the CAO or going on to college later on, but for lots of other reasons as well. So if you look at the slide ahead of you, so why choose a PLC course? The first part is that a lot of people don't recognise or know this, is that they are recognised on the National Framework of Qualifications. So you know that you are doing a level 5 leaving certificate course. You know that you're applying in some cases to the CAO for level 7 or level 8 courses, but the PLC courses are recognised as well. Level 5 is the first year of a QQI course, and if you continue on to do a second year, then it's considered to be a level 6 on the QQI, so a higher certificate or an advanced certificate. Other advantages, why choose a PLC course? There are over 500 colleges throughout the country. Some of them are very close, some of them are not so close. Maybe them not being so close is one of the reasons why you wouldn't want or to go, but it could be the reason why you do as well. More than 2,000 courses. I think I counted about 2009 courses available the last time I looked. So it's not just limited in terms of the options that you might have. Part of the good element of the PLC course is that there's a work experience part to the course. So it's part of the course, it's an element to it. And if they can't get you work experience, they'll get you work shadowing. That's sometimes done by you in terms of finding somebody that you want to do work with, but it may also be that the college would have connections as well. It's a hugely good introduction to the type of course or work related to the course that you might want to do in the future. So either a course or the type of work that you might want to get into. So for example, we've had students in the past who have gone and done a post-leaving certificate course in applied psychology or an introduction to psychology and sociology, who were thinking about doing psychology but weren't too sure if they really wanted to go down that route or weren't too sure whether they wanted to go into social work. But having done the PLC course, they were absolutely convinced that yes, this was the right choice for them. So a good way of getting an experience, getting to experience what a course is like without necessarily having to have the stress of a 4-year course and having to pass exams in the first year, etc. The other part was that students were trying to find a type of work that they wanted. So, for example, in sound engineering or even in theatre and drama, taking a year to do a PLC course where they were heavily involved in that allowed 1 or 2 of them to move on into sound engineering and 1 or 2 to move on into radio broadcasting as well. It's a really good option for people who are trying to look at art portfolio preparation courses to try to move on into art and get an opportunity of putting together a portfolio, particularly, designed in the area that they want to go to. So PLC courses have an awful lot to offer. The next point on this is that the SUSIE Grant is available if you qualify. So just as a normal college, if you qualify for the grant, you are entitled to it and you will get it in the PLC courses. And if you progress from a PLC course onto a college course at an IT or an institute of technology, at a university, your PLC grant will continue on to a full grant as well. The only issue in relation to the grant is because some of the colleges are closer, they would offer half a grant if the college you are going to is less than 50 kilometers from your own address, as in the address that you are making the application from now. So if you were applying to go to college in CTI in Clonmel from Care, it's unlikely that you would get the full grant, which is 3,025, but there's a good likelihood that you could get half the grant because you're less than 50 kilometers away. Now, even if you were to do that in relation to, for example, Cork or Waterford, you're over the 50 kilometers, okay? And then it's outside that. The points required in the leaving certificate, okay, aren't huge in relation to the PLC courses. In actual fact, you won't see points mentioned at all. They have minimum entry requirements. Generally, it's 5 passes in the leaving certificate. They may be looking at you to be stronger in one or two subject areas, depending on the PLC you're doing, but generally it'll be around an interview and how suitable and how interested you are in the particular course you're applying for. Another advantage is that there is a quota of places kept at all or almost all university or Institute of Technology courses, which link to the PLC system. Okay, so they're able to bring you from the course that you're doing into the University of the Institute of Technology, depending on your results. So, of course, the results in the PLC course are important as well. Generally, students are doing between 8 and 10 subjects. You'd need to be pulling a minimum of 5 or 6 distinctions in your subjects, but it's very much like what you would be doing at third level anyway. Okay, so it gives you some experience of it as well, and a lot of the results you will do very well in anyway. Could we go on, Ms. O'Leary, to the next one? So these are more reasons. So it gives you another year, okay, or a year of third level education I just mentioned a moment ago. It's kind of the same thing that you're doing. It's called further education, but the type of lectures and the type of work and experience that you're supposed to be trying to do will be very similar, mirroring what you would do if you do go on to third level to university institutes of technology. Again, but without the same level of stress. Generally, they're smaller classes, a lot more hands-on experience. It gives you another year to make a decision if you're still unsure, and that can be the case. The last couple of years haven't been easy in relation to students in leaving certificates trying to make decisions. So it will give you another year to make a decision. It's not a waste of a year under any circumstances. You're learning hugely, and particularly if the course is related to something that you might want to go into. It also gives you the opportunity of maybe using it as a backdoor in, but I'll talk about that in a second. The qualifications, those QQI level 5 and level 6 are recognised outside of Ireland. So yes, you can take the qualification and you can travel and will be recognised. The average cost of a PLC course is somewhere around about €500. So if you're going to go to, for example, the CAO and you need to go, or you want to go to, for example, UCC, the college course is going to cost €3,125 this year for a course. If you get the grant, yes, of course, that will cover it, but it's still quite a lot of money. Most PLC courses can, would be dramatically much less, somewhere between €300 and €500. There are some exceptions to that. So, for example, chef, beautician, hairdresser, those can be a little bit more expensive because you have to buy your knives for the cooking, you have to buy your scissors, etc., for the hairdressing. And those are professional stuff. You will be able to have them for the rest of your life. So you're talking in around about €1,500-1,600, but that gives you your instruments or your, the stuff that you would need for forevermore afterwards. In relation to PLCs, there isn't a central system, not like CAO. You apply directly to each college, okay? And Ms. O'Leary will talk about the application in a moment. It's generally based around an interview, and there are 3 different phases of interview, not for each one person, but for the different sections. So generally there's an early opening which happens in around about March, April for students who have applied it by then, but there's also some who will apply later than that, so they could be interviewed in late May, early June, and then there's a third round which may be for people who are applying after the Leaving Cert results come out. Offers can often be made immediately. So you could actually apply for a PLC course in April, May, and know that you have a place if you so want it. Okay, so that would be great. Makes your life easier. If you move on again, please, Ms. O'Leary. Okay, so just giving you a couple of ideas or questions around, well, reasons why not to do a PLC course. Okay. So it's not a backdoor into many professional courses such as medicine or architecture or stuff like that. There are some courses that it may link into. There are some courses that it may be helpful for linking into, but for quite a lot of those courses that you would know that you need to be applying for, it's not really a backdoor into it. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to go back. Can you go back one slide, please, Ms. Leary?
I just noticed that now. Yeah.
That's okay.
Are you there, Sean? Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. So the other reason that a lot of students give for not doing the PLC course is that a lot of them have done the TY, and as a result they feel that they're old enough going to college already. So a PLC course may make you feel that you're even older still. But to be honest with you, on the continent, in places like Germany, etc., the average age for students starting to attend university or training college is between 19 and 21. So you're getting to around about the right time from this point of view if you do a PLC course. The level of grant that's offered depends on whether you are what's called adjacent or non-adjacent. I mentioned that a moment ago. If you live closer than 50 kilometres to the PLC college you're going to, then you will get half the grant. And so that's around about €1,512. But if you're outside of that, you'll get the full grant. But whether you are outside it or not, even if you're closer than the 50 kilometres and then you go from the PLC college to a university. So to give an example, if you went to the Cork College of Commerce and you only got half the grant, when you go to University College Cork, you'll get the full grant. Okay, once you qualify for it. Some of the PL colleges or PLC colleges may be too close to home for you. You're trying to get away from home. You're trying to have the experience of going to college. Maybe not so much this year or next year, but so one of the colleges, Central Technical Institute in Clonmel, may be a little bit close. There's lots of others that are nearby, but that might suit students as well, who might be able to look at commuting, not having to find accommodation and living away from home. So there are quite a number, excuse me, that are in the area. Fermoy, Mitchelstown, Thurles, Cashel, obviously Clonmel, Mallow. Then you have the big ones in Cork and Waterford. Some specialised courses may only be on offer in specific PLC colleges. So, for example, if you wanted to take up water sports or sailing, for example, then you probably won't get that opportunity in CTI Clonmel or in Thurles, but you would if you went to Kinsale. Okay, so the College of Further Education in Kinsale offers that. So some courses are specific, and when you're doing the looking up, you might be able to find them very specifically. Okay, and if Ms. O'Leary can move on to the last one for me. This is my last slide. So these are the main PLC colleges for Coaiste Dún Iascaigh. About between 15 and 20% of the students for Leaving Certificate continue on to PLC courses, either using it as a year for experience, using it as a springboard to go on into third level to University Institutes of Technology, or using it for other reasons. The main colleges are the Central Technical Institute in Clonmel, CTI, Waterford College of Further Education, WCFE, Cork College of Commerce, Coaiste Dún Iascaigh, St John's Central College, those three are all in Cork, Limerick College of Further Education, and the Central College of Limerick. All of them have really excellent courses available and are well worthwhile you doing a bit of research and finding out more about them. Okay, I think that's me done, Ms. O'Leary.
Okay, I'll keep going. So
please, thank you.
How do you choose which PLC to pick, and how do you find out what are the progression routes? So to understand if there's a PLC entry route into your preferred CAO course, I put in the link there, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So you go on to the CAO, and you'll see here student resources on the left-hand side. And when you click into that, it'll bring you to this page here where you can select by institution and click go. And when you do that, it'll show you all the QQI PLC entry routes into that, into the courses in that institute. So if I wanted to do science concurrent teacher education in UL, I'd pick UL from the drop down list, click go, and then I try and find it from the list of courses. So here it is. Science with Teacher Ed, and I can see then the course code for the PLC that I'd have to do to get in and what grades I have to get on that course. Now, when you scroll over with the mouse, the name of the course pops up if you're using a computer, but it's actually much better when you're using a phone because the name automatically comes up on the phone and you get the name of the course that you can use as a PLC entry route, and then you get, well, what distinctions or what grades do you need to get in what modules specifically. Okay, so that's that. So if your course is there, it'll tell you the course or courses that you'd use to get in, and it'll show you what modules you need. If there's nothing there when you look, like for example, primary teaching, if you look for Mary I and you look for primary teaching, you'll find there's nothing there because there isn't a PLC entry route into that. And that's why when you look down from Mary I's list, you'll see the primary teaching is not listed there because there isn't a PLC entry route into it. And similar for medicine would be the same. Now, I know now which course I want to do as a PLC and try and get in, for example, to science teaching in UL. Well, where will I find out where I can do that course? If you go on to Qualifications and courses with those names and those modules in them in your preferred location. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like now. So if you go into Qualifications, you can go into Course Finder. So there's a student tab on the top and you go into Course Finder and you click on PLC Post Leaving Cert courses. And when you click on that, when you click on that, then it'll show you like a search box and you can type in the name of the course and you can select the county from a drop-down menu or select Munster. You can select by province. I thought I had that put in as a slide, but I haven't. But that's how you find it. Is you go into Qualifications and you go into PLC, and when you click that, you'll get a search box where you type in the keywords or the name of the course and then search, and it'll show you all of those courses and where you can do them. And then you can click into each one to find out more information. Now, once you've done that, and let's say you want to do a course in Cork College of Commerce, for example, or you want to do a course in CTI Clonmel, how do I actually go about applying and what do I need? So I'm going to go on to that now. So you apply directly to each PLC college. As Mr. Lander said, it's not centralised like the CAO, but they all use the same system. And I'll show you that system in the next slides. And you need the same things for each college to apply. So you'll need your PPS number, your air code, your address, your air code, a medical card if you have one, because that would make it cheaper for you. You'd only have a very small amount of fees to pay if you have a medical card, and a debit card. In most cases, it's free to apply. Now, some will charge around €20, but they'll take that €20 off the fee later on. So, for example, Waterford College of Further Education has done that in the past, because it was a way, I suppose, of deterring people who weren't genuinely interested from applying. But most of them, as I said, are free. And even if you do pay, they usually take it off the fee at the end if you do go to that college. So I'm going to show you now what that system looks like. So when you Cork College of Commerce is the only one that I've discovered that's open yet. Now, it looks like they were making moves to open up St. John's Central College, would be a very popular one for people wanting to do veterinary nursing. So they'll start to open up, the application system start to open up now this month and next month. So as they open up, we'll let you know, we'll send you messages and Teams and things like that. So how you get to the application page is you go onto the website, the college website, and there's always an apply button from the home page, the page that you land on. And when you click on that apply button, it brings you to this page. So you have to choose the department that the course is in and then the name of the course. And you can add additional course choices. Okay, so usually they'll allow you to add up to 3, usually. So now if you only want to put in one, you need to only put in one. You need to know your name, surname, your PPS number. You need to have that. You'll see the things with a red star, the things you have to have, or it won't allow you to go on to the next stage. It's only 3 steps in it. It's very simple. On this first step, the only thing that can cause problems at times is the date of birth. So it's DD-MM-YYY. So it's not a slash. So I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to give away a trade secret. I'm going to tell you my date of birth. Well, I'll tell you the year. I won't tell you the date of birth because I'd be inundated with presents. I'll say, okay, the 1st of December, so it'll be 01, and then the December would be 12, and then it would be 1977. Okay, you put in, but it would be a dash in between them. Very important you don't put in a slash because it won't let you go on to the next stage and students will get stuck and wonder why. So once you've that done, it'll bring you on to the next page, which is step 2. And this is step 2 looks like this. Where is it now? So it'll look for your address, and then it'll look for your highest educational attainment. So it'll be your Leaving Cert, and you choose that from the drop-down menu, and you'll be taking your Leaving Cert in 2021. And the county, then you choose the county and the country and the air code. You need your air code, and that's where that goes in there. Now that's where my missing slide from the Qualifications was back there. But anyway, the third and final step then in applying for the PLC is you put in your addresses there. You have all that in, you have your air code, and then finally then there's a confirmation that you accept the terms and conditions. And when you finish this one off, usually what they'll do is they'll send a receipt to your email, but I would say print a receipt from this page just to prove, in case there was ever an issue with the system or it accidentally got lost or something like that. You have proof and you have downloaded and printed and you have a date on that. So it'd be a good idea to print that off. Now, for some colleges, when you submit the form at the acknowledgement stage, they will tell you, for example, St. John's Central College, if you're applying for veterinary nursing, they'll tell you when the interviews are, or they'll tell you to make sure and check your email. And that's a very important thing to do, because you could be called for interview and you could miss the interview because you're not checking your emails. So that's a really important thing to do. Now, finally, a bit of work for you to do. So I'm going to send you the links send you a link to a questionnaire, and the answers to the questions are on the link at the start, that CAO link. So you can answer the questions from that, and I'll stop recording now, and you can also go back over the presentation to see did you miss anything that you might need to answer the questions. Has anybody any questions now before I go and I send you the task to do?
No.
No, you're all good. Okay, so I'm going sending you the link so to the form you have to do. Oops. No, I'll send it in the chat. Okay, so did you get that exercise? Give me a thumbs up to say that you got it. And if you get stuck with any question, will you send us a message in the chat? Because the questionnaire is there to make sure that you got the important pieces of information from the presentation. And if you didn't get those pieces of information, well, then you need to go back over, watch back over the presentation, and go into the link that I sent you at the start of the questionnaire to make sure that you know the stuff. Have you anything else to add there, sir?
No, so Leary, I think that it's very clear. There's a little bit of work and sort of research that you need to be doing yourselves at this stage to try to find out a little bit more about what's available and how they might work. But they are really, really good courses, and the government, etc., is pushing them quite hard for the last year or two. So, you know, it's becoming very popular. So it's not going to be as easy to get into those courses, I think, as some people think. You know, so if you know, think seriously about it.
Disappointed, you know, I know in several other schools as well that students, you know, they didn't apply in time and then they weren't able to get in and things like that. So, you know, if you want them, you want to apply as soon as possible.
Yeah, and that brings me to another point as well, Mr. Leary. Would everybody who's on here and everybody who's talking to anybody in 60, would you keep on checking both the school careers webpage, but also on the Teams, because we'll send you updates. There's an awful lot of virtual open days happening now and information days happening, information evenings, talks, etc. This is how you're going to get your information, because we obviously won't be attending any open days, so there won't be any happening. They're all virtual, but it might be a way of you finding information. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to ask, either contact myself or Mr. O'Leary to ask us questions, okay? We're not expecting you to know everything. That's why you're here. That's why we're here. So if you do need a little bit of help with something, please just contact us and ask.